What's up, guys? I'm BTC. Got a couple of things for you today. An update on the looking for group thrower lever situation, connection problems causing serious issues, and also a really cool tool that you can use as an endorsement tracker. First thing I gotta talk about is a warning, public service announcement kind of thing. I strongly advise you against playing the competitive mode until later on tonight or possibly tomorrow. The reason for this is because over the last day or two, Blizzard's servers have been getting attacked. This results in a lot of people not being able to connect, but other people who are in-game are getting kicked out, or sometimes the servers might just boot everyone out of a match. And whenever this happens, those players will get the penalty hit as if they left the match. So they get the minus 50 SR, and they get the suspension. And it starts out small, it's like 10 minutes, then 30 minutes, and 24 hours, and it keeps building and building. The problem is that it's punishing your account for the disconnects. And Blizzard in the past has said many times that they will never go back and revert any of this. They don't have the ability or whatever it happens to be. So if you get disconnected because of the server problems, then your account will be punished and it adds up. And if you get booted too many times or if you leave too many times, then you can be banned from the entire competitive season. And, you know, it gets even more than that. But the point is, the servers are really unstable right now. If you want to play the game, then do so in quick play, do so in the arcade. But again, I advise you against playing competitive until all this gets sorted out. And speaking of bad competitive game mode experiences, just how bad was it getting, and has the looking for group system made any impact on it? Well, let's take a quick look back at just how bad it was. In the tail end of Season 10, during the anniversary event, in the span of 1 week, I had over 100 throwers in my matches. That is not an exaggeration, guys. I actually kept track. Whenever I live stream, I have a counter on the top left. It keeps track of the number of players that have thrown or have left the match. And I had more than 100 throwers in 1 week. That is absolutely absurd. I ended up losing like 700 to 900 points or something. It was ridiculous. It was unbelievably frustrating. I basically just didn't even want to play the game at that point. And in case you're wondering, oh, well, maybe I was just thinking that they were throwing, but they weren't really throwing. Maybe I was the only one that was reporting them. Nope, because after I reported them, I would very quickly get a message from Blizzard saying, hey, someone that you reported got punished, blah, 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 thank you for making the game better, whatever. And this is just a small sampling of the reports that I got. Yes, I had to shrink them down so that they were fit. This isn't even all of them, guys. This is just some of them. And yes, every single one of those is unique. I had over 100 throwers in 1 week. It was terrible. So, how has my experience changed now that we're in Season 11? I've been mostly using the looking for group system, and the experience has been largely positive. There have been a couple of cases where someone gets a bit tilted and then they just quickly leave after the match is over, or maybe someone else just isn't playing as well as they should, but they're not intentionally throwing, they just didn't really play that well. And then, of course, you have the occasional guy who tries a little too hard to get the shot caller endorsement. Like, he's just talking way too much, and it's like, okay, guy, tone it down a bit, alright? You know what I mean? That sort of deal. I'm sure you guys have seen that. But for the most part, it's been pretty positive. When using the looking for group system, when it was a 6-stack versus 6-stack, I've only seen 2 people ever leave. The first one definitely was a rage quit. The second one, I think, probably was more connection issues because the match was actually pretty even at that point, so I don't think he would have rage quit. But in all of that, so only 1 rage quit, and it was on the enemy team, so pretty good. Then I also tried solo queue, and the first match that I was in solo queue, it was already problematic. There was basically people picking stuff that they knew wasn't going to work, and they were just doing what they wanted to do because they wanted to, rather than trying to actually help the team win. And I also saw a couple of people throw, but luckily they were on the enemy team, and there was also 1 or 2 levers as well. Again, luckily they were on the enemy team, so I just got super lucky with my solo queue this season. Last season, obviously, 100 plus throwers in a week, not so much. So while the looking for group system has definitely made a huge improvement, I think this kind of confirms my earlier concerns, which was that all of the bad players, the throwers, the leavers, the toxic players, they're going to end up being in the solo queue. So if you're using looking for group, then you're going to be fine. But if you're in the solo queue, it's kind of the garbage dump. So I think that Blizzard is definitely going to have to take a closer look at that, because it's just going to get worse and worse. Another big question I get asked is, how do the endorsement levels work? Well, it's not as simple as you get a certain number of endorsements and then you rank up. And then you get more endorsements and then you rank up again. That's not how it works. There's a lot of other stuff that goes into it. Blizzard is deliberately not telling us what that stuff is because they don't want people to be able to find a way to work around it or to abuse the system. For a visual representation, this is the experience bar for your levels. So as it fills up, you get to the new level, and then it starts over again. But for the endorsement rank, think of it as being more at an angle. So there's constantly going to be experience, or endorsement I guess, leaking out of it. And the higher in rank you get, the more that angle is, and the more that it leaks out, the faster it goes. So you can't just have the same amount of endorsements, you have to constantly be gaining more in order to counteract that kind of leaking effect. If you're not constantly gaining new endorsements, then you're going to end up dropping below into a different lower rank. There are other things that can take a big chunk out of your endorsement rating as well, like leaving a match. It seems quick play, arcade, and competitive, if you leave a match, then you're going to get an endorsement hit no matter what. And this is actually kind of weird because in competitive, if someone else on your team leaves a match, you'll get 2 minutes where you have to stay in, but after that 2 minutes, everyone is free to leave and it doesn't count as a leaver penalty. But for whatever reason, you still get the endorsement hit as well, even though it's supposed to be safe to leave. I don't know if they're going to change this in the future. They probably should, because it seems like it's a broken mechanic. Like, they're telling you it's safe to leave, but you still get the endorsement penalty. But the only matches that you seem to be able to leave and not get any sort of penalty is stuff that you find in the custom game browser. So that's just, whatever. So they're not counting the endorsement stuff for that one. But for all the other matches, if you leave, you get that little bit of a hit. Another thing you can take an endorsement hit for, which will take a pretty big chunk out of it, is whenever your account gets punished. Now, I don't know if you get an endorsement hit when someone simply reports you. It seems that would be really dumb, because they could just report you because they don't like you to try to drag down your endorsement, right? It might be something that could be easily abused, so I don't think they should do that. If they are, it's dumb and they need to change it. It's more likely that you get the endorsement hit when your account is actually punished. So the short version is, just because you have X number of endorsements, it doesn't mean you're going to be a certain endorsement rank. Now, having said all that though, people still want to know what their total endorsements are. How many times have I been endorsed for Shot Caller versus Good Teammate, and what's the total? And unfortunately, Blizzard hasn't given us anything to actually find that out. But some other people have figured it out. So Ruin, who works over with the BlizzTrack website, actually came up with a bot, and there is now functionality that allows you to find out exactly how many endorsements you have gotten. So there's a cool little bot that I have in my Discord server that allows you to just ask the bot how many endorsements I have, and it will tell you everything. And also there's a cool website that you can go to find out the endorsements as well. So a couple of options for you, either the Discord bot or the website. Both of those links will be down below. So now that we've had looking for group for a little while, has your experience with throwers or leavers been better, worse, or about the same? Let me know down below. Thanks for watching. Make sure to check out my Discord server. Follow me on Twitch and Twitter. The links for that stuff are down below. And remember, always blame the controller, because it's never your fault. Also, special thanks to all my Patreon supporters for helping to make this all possible. If you'd like to see what kind of cool rewards you can get for supporting the channel, check the links on screen and down below.